Going back to those northern elites you were talking about just a second ago, that raises a question of a subject, again, that you mentioned in lecture, of why they let themselves get so steamrolled in the coming of the Civil War. And I'm thinking here of your sort of New York merchant financial elite who, as you mentioned, are fiercely opposed to any conflict, any secession, any regional secession conflict. And there's a way in which you can think of 1860 as this moment when the political elites in Washington, D.C. and the economic elites in New York are fundamentally at loggerheads in a way that maybe they never are again in the nation's history.
Well, you know, I'm beginning to come to the conclusion, unlike some scholars, that economic elites actually don't like war. Even though, you know, after World War I, there was a whole...
That they pushed us into it, that they wanted
the arms dealers, the arms manufacturers, the profits. You know, look, the Northern elite did very well in the Civil War. They made enormous profits in the Civil War. The railroads, the industrialists, cost-plus contracts with the federal government, et cetera, et cetera. So, but that doesn't prove they wanted the war. Absolutely not. It's a sort of ex post facto argument, you know. I think another major economic group were the manufacturers of New England, who strongly opposed, you know, or favored compromise to avoid war.
Well, war is like, it's controversy and it means uncertainty.
It means uncertainty. And by the way, the richest planters also tended to be skeptical in the South. The really rich ones it was smaller planters, aspiring people, and of course ideological secessionists. But the more you have, the more you want things to be stable and predictable. And war is very unpredictable. But as you said, the question is, why weren't they able to exert more power over the most, you know, the most important decision a political system can make, whether to go to war or not? And it's the congressman didn't listen to them. I mean, it is a remarkable thing. Although, you know, we had a scholar here doing a dissertation at Columbia on Britain and World War I, Martin Kenner, in which he showed that in the summer of 1914, the city of London was very much opposed to going to war. And they kept badgering the prime minister to compromise with, even once, you know, it looked like war was about to happen with, you know, after the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand and all this kind of thing. They didn't want war. They kept, and the cabinet didn't listen to them. You know, in fact, British insurance company, I'm way off the point here, but British insurance companies in the first few days or weeks of the war were paying insurance claims to German who will, you know, like if a ship was sunk, they would pay the insurance claim to the Germans. They said, wait a minute, that's the other, what do you mean? Well, we got to maintain our economic connections there, because after the war is over, we want to be back in there. The government told them to stop that, you know. But, so I think it's true that war seems to come along for reasons other than the direct interest of the most important economic groups in the country.